The conflict between genders started after the Enlightenment, when women were portrayed as inferior and impure. In the mid to postmodern era, Ibsen's play exposes the church reinforcement of patriarchal expectations, while Beauvoir's feminist philosophy dismantles myths that define women's roles. Wait, let's go back to industrial age, where religion and societal expectations were deeply intertwined. Women were often seen as moral guardians, a role tied to religious ideals of purity and submission. However, in this era, women can earn money outside the home. They became teachers or writers of fiction. But still, it was far from emancipation. Women's rights were limited. They still trapped within the patriarchal society. As seen in A Doll's House, Ibsen critiques the institution of marriage and the church role in reinforcing gender hierarchies. Nora, trapped in a marriage that views her as property, begins to question her prescribed role as a dutiful wife and mother. Her decision to leave her family at the end symbolizes a radical rejection of societal and religious expectations.
Goodbye.
This act, shocking for its time, reflects the growing tension between individual freedom and institutional control. The church moral authority perpetuates the idea that a woman's highest duty is self-sacrifice for her family. Nora's departure challenges this construct, making a shift toward self-actualization. Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex expands on Ibsen's critique by deconstructing the myth surrounding femininity. He argues that religious and societal narratives cast women as the other, defining them in opposition to men. Beauvoir challenges the idea of immanence, women being confined to passive roles, and advocates for transcendence, where women create their own identities. Nora embodies Beauvoir's philosophy when she rejects her immanence and steps into the unknown to define her own future. This act aligns with Beauvoir's call for women to reject societal myths and seek autonomy. The critics presented in A Doll's House and The Second Sex resonate in today's conversations about gender and religion. First, we look at the history of women's movement in mid to postmodern. Start from July 1848, Seneca Fall Convention, the movement affirmed women's equality with men and passed resolutions for rights like voting. In the 1960s second wave of feminism, Betty Friedan's book, The Feminine Mystic, launched the second wave of feminism, focusing on women's struggle against traditional roles. Second wave feminists called for re-evaluation of gender roles and an end to sexist discrimination. And third wave of feminism, it's all about expressing their sexuality and individuality. Issues like sexual harassment in the workplace and a lack of women in power positions. But does feminism really fight for the rights of all women? First, while feminism is often associated with its origin in the West, it has historically been criticized for centering the experiences of white, middle-class women, which does not fully represent the diverse struggles faced by women of different races, classes, and regions worldwide. However, did you know nowadays that nearly 6 in 10 American women identify with the term feminist? According to a Pew Research Center survey, 60% of women in the United States say the term describes them at least somewhat well. Feminism is seen as empowering by a majority of Americans, 64% in fact, and 42% say it's inclusive, but the movement also faces criticism. Nearly half of Americans, 45%, describe feminism as polarizing, and 30% believe it's outdated. This means feminism continues to be a useful instrument for bringing up issues for gender equity in America. The survey also highlights a noticeable divide between genders. Women are more likely to associate feminism with positive attributes like empowerment and inclusivity. On the other hand, men are more likely to see it as divisive and old-fashioned. These findings remind us that feminism is both celebrated and debated. What do you think feminism represents today? Based on an article written by Brinley Hyman, when considering the women's suffrage movement, one often visualizes marches, protests, and influential speeches. However, it is important to recognize that religion played a significant role in advocating for women's right to vote. For many suffragists, faith was not merely a personal conviction but a significant motivating force. Christian teachings regarding justice and equality propelled them to regard the right to vote as a moral imperative. Prominent figures such as Frances Willett, who led the Women's Christian Temperance Union, WCTU, posited that securing suffrage was essential for advancing social reform. Becoming centers of activism, women's church groups offered leadership opportunities and established networks that helped organize the movement. These groups framed voting rights as a means to bring a nurturing and ethical influence to politics. Religion has long been both supportive and controversial. Many people see the suffrage movement as fitting with Christian values, while others believe it threatens traditional gender roles. This difference in views has created tensions in various religious communities. However, faith has brought together many women from different denominations, giving them the courage to fight for their rights and the tools to organize effectively. The following quote from Frances Willett exemplifies modern women exercising their right to vote. The world is wide, and I shall not surrender my life in friction when it could be transformed into momentum. Today, religion continues to evolve. While it remains a source of tension, it also offers pathways to equality and inclusion. The mid to postmodern era teaches us this. True progress lies in questioning and reshaping the system that defines us.